So I'm just out here on my balcony minding my very own business, like y'all know how I love to do. And the Father just dropped this word into my spirit. Now, the other day, maybe like 2 days ago, I was in my house. It was on it was late at night, not too late, maybe like 8 at night. And all of a sudden, this butterfly appeared in my house out of nowhere. Like there was no windows open, no doors open. I don't know how it got inside of the house, but it just appeared in the house. Check this out, because y'all know I always pull up on a channel with receipts. So look at this video real quick. I am like so amazed right now. It is a butterfly in our apartment. Like, where? This is so amazing. Y'all already know how I love butterflies. New beginnings, prosperity, all of that good stuff. I love butterflies, y'all. So as I'm watching this butterfly flying around my house, I'm like, this is so amazing and like supernatural at the same time, because again, there was no windows, no doors open, and it's like 8 o'clock at night. And then on top of that, just as quick as it appeared in my house, it disappeared. I was watching it on the wall, I remember, in the corner of the ceiling in my living room. And so I was just like so amazed at the fact that there was a butterfly in my house. And if y'all don't know, y'all gotta know that I absolutely love butterflies, because I feel like they're always a symbol of transformation. Right? Because when you think of a butterfly, it always starts off as like a caterpillar, and it goes through the cocoon stage and the metamorphosis stage, and then it becomes this beautiful butterfly. But when it starts off in life, it's so ugly. You know, caterpillar's all fat and barely can move around on the ground, you know. And then they go from being that image of disgusting, you know, barely moving on the ground, to just soaring and flying so high in the sky with these beautiful array of colors. So I just always love the butterfly and what it means to me personally. And then also, I got my butterfly tattoo, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see it, but yes, I have a butterfly tattoo. And so when I seen this butterfly, I was just amazed that it was as late as it was. No windows, no doors open, and this butterfly was in my house. And so as I'm watching it on my wall, all of a sudden it just disappeared. Like it left, you know? I was looking around my house, maybe it flew somewhere, got stuck, died, you know? It was gone, y'all. Vanished, gone. And so I knew that it meant something powerful, because the Father, how many know he can use a rock to speak if he wants to? He can use your shoe to speak if he wants to. Whatever he so chooses to use, he can do just that. And so I knew that this wasn't just like, you know, a normal occurrence. Oh my gosh, there's a butterfly in my house. Like, no, it was a message that he was trying to convey to me. It was something that he was boldly trying to show me. And so I just kind of thought about it, you know, put that thought to the side, kind of thought about what could the meaning possibly be. And it wasn't until I'm sitting here in my peace of my balcony, looking at the beauty of the view that he gave me, that it came to my mind, you know, that now is the time, he's saying. Now is the time. Now is the time to move from that stage of being that caterpillar. Right? So we were once in that stage of struggling, fighting, battling with whatever it is that we're battling, whether it be an addiction, whether it be financially, whether it be, you know, just trying to overcome certain obstacles and challenges in your life. We've all been there. I know that this has been me personally lately. It has just been battling to identify with the things that he has for me to do, so that I can, you know, become that beautiful butterfly. Because when you follow what it is that he's telling you to do, it only leads to that stage of transformation. And so that has been my life since I have been in Africa, is just battling with overcoming certain obstacles still, you know, putting certain things away from me, doing things differently, you know, not doing some of the things that I once did, you know, like just changing according to the way that he's leading me. So that's kind of been where I have been at in my life, is just changing certain things about my character, changing certain things about the way I respond to situations, the way I handle things, the way I deal with my finances, the way I spend, like just, you know, those real intimate things about you that he wants to take the time to change within you. So that's been the course of my life. And so, you know, I've been just questioning and praying lately, like, when does this phase of my life end, of just going through, right? Of just being in this refinement process, of just being, you know, in this fiery furnace. When does this end? When does it come the point of time where I'm able to soar and finally become, right? Become all of the things that I know that I am destined to become: successful, prosperous, all of these things in the Bible, all of the promises that he's given us in his word. When is that going to be my portion? When is it finally going to be my portion to receive all of these things that he said that I would receive in his word? And I've been diligent. I've been doing all the things that he's called me to do. I've been changing for the better. I've been working on myself. You know, all of these things that he calls us to do, I've been doing it, and I've been diligent, and I've been consistent. It's not like it's been, oh, okay, let me work on myself and then I'm going to fall back, and let me work on myself some more and I'm going to fall back. No, it's been like a constant progression for me. And so it was no excuse in my eyes as to why I wasn't finally being successful, soaring, financially stable, you know, all of these things that I felt that I should be in life, or where I should be in life, should I say. So when he showed me this, when this butterfly appeared in my life, and as I'm sitting on the balcony reflecting on that moment, because it's been a period of reflection ever since I've seen that butterfly. Can I mention that morning, well, that afternoon rather, maybe at about like 4 p.m., I seen my neighbor outside, and so I stopped to talk to her, and I was admiring the butterfly earrings that she had on, and also she had a butterfly necklace, so it was a matching set. And I just was like, oh, this is so beautiful. I love butterflies. So for me to come home later that evening and see a butterfly flying around, I was blown away. And it's like, okay, can I finish recording now? Thank you. Hold on. Okay, thank you. Wait a minute. Okay, stop, daughter. And so to come home and then see the butterfly flying around in my apartment, I was just like, this is no coincidence. It's no coincidence that earlier that day I noticed, I ran into my neighbor who had butterfly jewelry on, and then that same evening there was one flying around in my house. Like, I pay attention to things like that, and things like that just don't happen by coincidence. When it happens, it's for a reason, and we have to pay attention. It wasn't until this moment that he spoke and said, now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time for you to soar. And as I'm speaking, there's two birds flying in the sky. Two birds flying in the sky. Amazing. Just confirmation of his word. But now is the time. Now is the time to soar. Now is the time to fly. Now is the time to become. Now is the time to put in place all of the things that I've been teaching you in secret, all the time that you've been spending with me, all of that personal time that you've been putting in, all of those tears that you've been sowing. You know, because even your tears, believe it or not, is tears of sowing. And you shall reap from those very tears that you once cried. You shall reap a great harvest in its due time. And I did a video on, you know, now is the time for your harvest. Now is time to receive your harvest. And I believe that time was then for some people. That time we're moving into that season again now for some people, you know, because there's different periods of a season of harvest. It just isn't one harvest, as we know. Like, you plant and, you know, you reap the harvest, and then you plant again and it's more harvest. So when I gave that word, it was a time for a harvest, whatever that harvest was in that moment. And so now we are entering into another harvest season. So everything that you've been sowing in that caterpillar stage of your life, everything that you've been sowing, those tears you've been crying, the way that you've been diligently working on yourself, the way that you've been working on your character, the way that you've been working to change, the way that you've been working to become, the way that you've been reading his word, the way that you've been studying. Now is the time for you to soar and fly and put all of those things into perspective for your life. Now is the time to become that butterfly. Now is the time to finally be in that period of your life where there's no more lack, there's no more financial struggle, there's no more trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills, there's no more trying to figure out how you're going to feed your kids, there's no more trying to figure out what you should become in life, there's no more trying to figure out your purpose and your destiny. He is making things so plain, so clear in this moment, in this hour, in this time. He is making things so evident. It would no longer be a guess. If you're seeking him, and if you've been doing exactly what it is, and I've stressed this over and over and over and over and over again on this channel, the importance of being obedient, because obedience is better than sacrifice. I've spoke about this so many times on this channel. It's so important that you've been obedient, because now it is your obedience that is going to bring your reward. It is your obedience that is going to bring everything that you've sacrificed for. So I hope that your sacrifice has not been in vain, because I hope that you've been sacrificing and that you've been obedient at the same time. Because now is the time to reap. Now is the time to put away your tears. Now is the time to smile. What does the word says? It says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Now is the time. The morning has arrived. Now is the time for that joy. It's a joyful season. It is a joyful season. That butterfly in my house represented beauty. It represented joy. It represented transformation. It represented growth. It represents change. It represents development. And that is what is happening. All of those things are happening in this hour. We are here. We are here. We have struggled our way through. We have prayed our way through. We have stayed diligent to what it is that he's been telling us to do, what he's called us to do, despite how challenging it has been, despite the things that we've had to endure and the things that we've had to go through. We stood the test of time, and he's saying now is the time. Now is the time to soar, my daughter. Now is the time to soar, my son. Now is the time to become. It's time for that greatness to be birthed from without of you. It's time for that business to be born. It's time for that book to be written. It's time for you to go back to school. It's time for you to start that family. Whatever it is that he's been putting and pressing upon your spirit, he's saying the time is now. The hour is now. Don't delay any longer. No more just working on yourself. Now it's time to start working towards what he's put inside of you, and inside of you, all those things that's been laying dormant. Also, I want to point out the fact butterflies don't live that long. They only live about like 2 weeks after they become butterflies, before they die off. And so it just goes to show that this word that the Father is given, when he's saying that he wants you to act, and he wants you to act now and move upon this word and do those things within you that have been laid dormant. He's so serious, because when you think of the lifespan of a butterfly, it only has a 2-week span before it dies. So it has 2 weeks to do all that it should accomplish in life before it dies. And so that's exactly what the Father is saying in this message that I'm giving today, is that you have a limited amount of time to act, to move, and to do what it is that he has placed on the inside of you. And he's giving you this extra grace, this extra mercy, and like this extra ability to be able to do the things you need to do and get them done quickly. Just like how the butterfly only lives for 2 weeks before it dies. Well, guess what? You only have a limited amount of time with this open heaven to act and to do what it is that he has put on the inside of you to do. All of those things that's been laying dormant, now is the time to put it into practice. If he's been telling you to go back to school and you've been feeling this thing in your spirit, but you just knew the time wasn't right then, he's saying the time is right now. The time is right now, right now, right now. This is a right now word. The time is right now. No more waiting for tomorrow. No more putting it off for another year, another semester. If he's calling you to go back to school, he's saying the time is right now. Any challenge that you may have had when trying to register for classes or attempting to receive financial aid or loans or whatever it is that you needed, or even if you're just funding your own way through school. He's saying that the open door of heaven is now. Anything that he's pressed upon you to do, he is opening that door of heaven to show you extra favor in that area. So if he's called you to start that business, you're getting extra favor to start that business. If he's calling you to go back to school, extra favor upon your life to go back to school. Everything will go smoothly. Everything that he's called you to do will go smoothly if you take advantage of this hour, if you take advantage of this moment. Everything, now is your time to soar. It's a butterfly, guys. And as I'm speaking this word, a butterfly just flew by. Let me tell you, when he gives this word, and it's always a right now word, he always brings confirmation. Always brings confirmation. Look back on previous videos when I done sat down and gave a word and just miraculous things has happened in the background as I'm giving the word. Now, take advantage of this, guys, now, right now. And I'm telling you, I'm not just sitting on the other end giving this word. I'm not just sitting here just speaking. I am taking advantage of everything that I'm telling you guys to do. He's telling me as well, that the time is right now, daughter. The time is right now. And guess what? I'm taking advantage right now of everything that he's put inside of me to do. If he's saying move, Melody, on these things, guess what? Melody's moving. I've already started to put in place things that he's put on the inside of me. I've already started the process. Already started the process, and I'm going to give a testimony when it comes to fruition. I'm going to come back and give the testimony, but I've already started to put those things into practice. So eventually, as time goes by, whoever takes advantage of this word, and if you have not taken advantage of this word and you see other people prospering and becoming and flourishing and growing, financially stable and secure, moving in their gifts and their talents, operating where it is that the Father has placed them, and you didn't take advantage, you can only blame yourself. You can't say you didn't hear the word. You can't say you didn't receive the call. Oh, he's calling. He's calling. It's a matter of, are you going to answer? Will you answer that call? Or will you let that telephone ring? Which one you want to do? Because the decision is up to yours. He's just only saying, this is the time. This is the time when I'm giving extra favor. This is the time when I'm just bestowing upon you extra grace and mercy to do what it is that I'm telling you to do. So if you don't take advantage of this moment, that's on you. If you don't take advantage of this season, this hour, that's on you. And you have nobody to blame but yourself. So if you look up and next year you're still in the same predicament, still doing the same thing, still crying over the same thing, still trying to struggle through the same thing, still trying to wonder if it's time for you to move in that gift, if it's time for you to start that ministry, if it's time for you to invest in that stock or whatever it is he's calling you to invest your money in. If you have not done it and you receive this word, because he's going to send this word where this word needs to be sent, okay? So if he's sending this word and you're hearing this word and you choose not to obey and you choose not to act upon what this word is, because it's not a matter of just hearing. You have to actually do. You have to be a doer of what you hear, or how will it ever work in your life? If you have $100, right, and you need to go deposit it into your bank, but you never take the initiative to actually go deposit that $100 in your bank, how can you expect that $100 to ever reflect on your balance? It's never going to be a reflection of your balance in your bank account if you never put it in the bank. The same applies. When you hear something, you have to apply it to your life. Don't just hear it and be like, oh, that's a great word. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. And you go on and continue your normal activities. You have to activate change. You have to implement something new. Do what it is that he's calling you to do. If he's saying, Go back to school. Go start the process of whatever it is that you need to get that process started. If he's saying open that business, go on and begin that business. Open up that business. Begin the process of registering your LLC or your corporation or your DBA, whatever it is that you plan to do. You know, and that's another gift that he's given me. I've opened, yeah. If I told y'all all of the businesses that I've opened and they're just laying dormant, okay? I partially started them, stopped, started another one, stopped. It's been an ongoing thing, y'all. But he's saying the time is now, daughter, that all of those things you've done has not been in vain. All those businesses that you have started, oh, the time is now for those things to be activated. I'm waking them up. I'm waking them up. I'm speeding those things now. I'm activating those things now. I'm activating those dormant businesses. I'm activating those dormant ideas. The time is now. So I want y'all to go ahead and drop a comment if you want me to do a class. You know, it'll be a small fee, maybe $25. I'll do a class teaching on how to start a business. I will do that. $25. I'll do a class, but drop a comment if you feel like it's something that you could benefit from, because it's a lot of people that are in that beginning stage, or maybe you have the idea of beginning a business, but you don't know where to start. You don't even know what to begin to do. So if you can benefit from that, go ahead and drop a comment and say yes. Just put yes. Drop a comment and put yes. And I will put together a Zoom class. We'll charge $25 and we'll get it together real quick. We will get it together. But I'm telling you, the time is now. The time is really no excuse to not move. It's really no excuse to not activate. It's really no excuse to not do what it is that he's calling you to do. It's no excuse. You know, if you plan to go back to school, you know, and you don't know how to begin that process of going back to school, I can even walk you through those steps. You know, we'll put a small fee on that and put together a class, and we can even do a whole class on preparing to go back to school and all the things that you need. You know, I have 2 associate's degrees. I'm working on my bachelor's, and that will be complete within the next few months. I will have my bachelor's. So I have a lot of knowledge in the area when it comes to, you know, what's needed in going back to school. So if you can benefit from that, drop a comment in the section and put yes to school. And we can get a class together, Zoom class, and get that together. But the time is now. I'm telling y'all, the time is now. Take advantage. Take advantage. If you have the knowledge and the resources to do it already, take advantage and put those things into practice. It's an open heaven. The time is now. Don't miss the opportunity. The time is now. It's now. This is a right now word. So I was just out here, you know, just minding my business. And I really haven't done a video in a few days. So I decided, you know what? This word was dropped into my spirit. Let me do it right now. Let me not put it off, because I have a bad habit of when the Father's been dropping words into my spirit lately, I'll say, I'll get to it. You know, I'm in the middle of doing something else, whether it be cooking or chasing Emerald around. It's normally Emerald's that keeps me, guys, because she's not in school right now, so it's kind of hard to record. So even now, right now, she's napping, and normally she takes like a 10-second nap, I promise y'all, and she's right back up into the races and yelling and screaming, and I gotta chase her around and chase her out of everything in the house. So it's hard to record with her, but she's going back to school next week. Praise the heavens above. So I will be back on the channel recording as soon as the Father drops a word. I'm putting that word out because lately he's been giving me a word, and I'll say, okay, I'll get to it because I'm in the middle of chasing her or cooking or whatever. And then when I go to sit down to have a moment to actually record, the word done left me, y'all, because I ain't write it down because I was in the middle of doing what I was doing. And so I can't wait to like just really get back to recording the way that I need to record. So she's going back to school next Tuesday. I'm so excited about this, y'all. Let me tell y'all, it's a blessing. So yeah, I just wanted to get on real quick and give this quick word, very quick word that just hit my spirit to let you guys know that the time is now. Become that butterfly. The time is now to become that butterfly. Let me do my timestamp. So it is September 7th, 2022, and it is 12:48 p.m. here in Africa. So that's the word, y'all. That is the word for this moment. Become that butterfly. Don't let nothing hold you back anymore. The time of being that caterpillar and crawling and trying to find your way through life is over. It is time to soar. It is time to grow. It is time to become. See you on the next video.